How's it going, guys? My name is Rushcode, and in today's devlog, I'll be installing a moving door to the Resident Evil room that I made from before. This also means I'll be making a blueprint for the first time. So I created an active blueprint and started making a door. The real struggle for me was getting the door level with the ground. So if you guys know a quick way to do that, like a shortcut of some sort, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to know how to do that. So once I scaled it up and positioned it correctly, I moved on to making the material for it. And whenever I think of a door, my mind always goes to one of those thick, sturdy wooden doors on those big houses, you know the ones. So I made a brown color door. I then copied that object and made the door frame. And I took the opportunity here to use my brick texture, which I worked so hard to make even though I rarely get to use it. What I thought was really cool about the Unreal Engine is that once I compiled and saved a blueprint, I could drag it into the world like any other object. But the door was obviously a bit too big, and thankfully the shapes that make up the door are sort of linked dynamically, I guess, to each other. So everything sort of reshaped together when I scaled it down. Once I was happy with the size and the position of the door in the room, I moved on to making a trigger volume. And the volume itself is kind of self-explanatory. It's an invisible object that you can walk through and trigger certain events. So I added the onComponentHit event and connected it to a printString event, which is very similar to how you can print certain things to the console using languages like JavaScript or Python with the printf command. So I was pretty excited to see this work, but it looked like it was only activating the string every time I fired projectiles onto the invisible volume surface. It took me a while to realize that this was actually the wrong event, so I went back to the drawing board and picked out the one that I'm supposed to use, which is onComponentBeginOverlap, which makes a lot more sense because you don't want to hit the door to open it, but you want to overlap into its area. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I could probably use that to make something like an exploding door sometime in the future, if I connect a destroy function to that. So once I got all that fixed up, I revised the blueprint to destroy the door when I walked into the volume. Well, that worked like a charm. So the next obvious step was to make a door that moves. To do this, I had to insert a timeline event which I renamed to doorSlide, and created a time function graph to control when and where the door would reposition itself over time. When I finally got to the test run, something seemed a bit off. I didn't know why the door wasn't moving all the way down, but I figured it had something to do with the multiply value that I was using. And for a good 10 minutes or so, I was trying a whole bunch of things to try and fix this. And then something hit me. Not the onComponentHit event, but the door was actually 200 units tall. So I tried 200 units for the multiply value and bam, Bob's your uncle. So the final thing I moved on to was making the door close back up when I leave the trigger volume, because it would have looked a bit strange to see a door just teleporting in out of nowhere every time it needed to open itself. So I used the onComponentEndOverlap event and a copy of the other objects, making sure everything was linked up correctly together, and did a final test run which I felt quite satisfied with. The door could open, the door could close, and I could walk through the door. I couldn't really ask for more in making my first blueprint, and I have Katie's tutorials to thank for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this devlog of me making my first blueprint. I can't wait to see the kind of blueprints I'll be making 1 year from now. But if you like this video, guys, hit that like button, let me know what you think down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell by clicking the buttons down below so that you get notified about the next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye!